Throughout the past year, astronomers across the world have been as busy as ever, keeping their telescopes pointed heavenward in hopes of catching a glimpse of the unknown and the unexplained. As the year 2021 comes to a close, let's take a look back at some of the things that astronomers have found. You are watching Matter, and these are the top 10 most insane space discoveries of 2021. Number 10. Jupiter's Xray mystery. NASA's Juno space probe, which has been in orbit around Jupiter since 2016, has just solved a 40-year-old astronomical mystery. Jupiter's polar aurorae are similar to Earth's northern lights, but unlike on Earth, the Jovian aurorae pulsate rhythmically in the X-ray spectrum and stretch much further north than expected. Astronomers have scratched their head at this puzzle for a few decades, unable to come up with any explanation for why Jupiter's aurorae behave so strangely. Finally, the Juno probe has uncovered the answer. Bursts of solar wind particles strike the outer edge of Jupiter's magnetic field, which in turn triggers a phenomenon called electromagnetic ion cyclotron emission, where ions trapped in Jupiter's magnetosphere are accelerated along the field lines. When the charged particles dive into the atmosphere at Jupiter's poles, they have gathered enough energy to produce strong X-ray emissions, pulsating with the strikes from the solar wind. Number 9. A new kind of supernova. Most supernovae occur during the core collapse of a dying star, but earlier this year, astronomers might have identified an entirely new class of supernova. An international team of astronomers identified a bright flash of radio waves, typical of a supernova, in a dwarf galaxy approximately 480 million light-years away. But the data also reveals a faint burst of X-rays prior to the actual explosion. The theory behind this unique event involves a binary system of stars, two stars that were born together in a conjoined orbit. One of the stars dies before the other, leaving behind only the compact core, perhaps in the form of a neutron star. The neutron star's orbit around the other star decays over time, eventually plunging into the living star. The two cores collide and merge violently. From the point of impact spews a massive jet of star material, shooting out into space for millions of miles. This superheated plasma jet is the theorized source of the X-ray emissions. The merger of the two cores would then disrupt the nuclear fusion reactions within, triggering core collapse and the explosive death of the star. A merger-triggered supernova like this has been theorized, but never before observed until now. Number 8. A megacomet. A massive comet was just spotted at the very edge of the solar system. The newly discovered Bernstein comet is estimated 200 kilometers across, potentially the very largest comet ever discovered. This unusual object likely originates from the Oort cloud, a scattered collection of frozen ice chunks surrounding the Sun at a distance of hundreds of billions of miles. Comets from the Oort cloud have incredibly long orbital periods. For Comet Bernstein, it has taken 3 million years to complete its latest lap around the Sun and won't be back for another 4.5 million. Shortly after its original detection, astronomers have noticed that the comet Bernstein is unusually active, with a sudden burst of activity just this year. Evidence shows that the comet is already surrounded by a gassy coma of evaporated material. This is somewhat unexpected given that it's still nearly 3 billion miles from the Sun, so there isn't really much heat to vaporize the comet's icy surface. Over the next decade, as the enormous comet dives even deeper into our solar system, astronomers will have an unprecedented view of this unique comet's behavior, which may offer some insight into the nature of the mysterious Oort cloud. Number 7. A speeding black hole. At the center of our Milky Way galaxy lies a supermassive black hole, so called because it is 4 million times the mass of our Sun. Astronomers now believe that there are similar supermassive black holes within the nuclei of most, if not all, galaxies in the universe. Our galaxy's black hole is stationary. It sits in the middle of the galactic core, with the hundreds of billions of stars all orbiting around it. Most galaxies that we have observed appear to behave in the same way. However, astronomers recently found an exception. The center of galaxy J0437 plus 2456, about 230 million light-years away, hides a supermassive black hole with a mass of nearly 3 million suns. Not only is the black hole moving with respect to its galaxy, but it's moving fast. Astronomers have clocked this black hole going 30 miles per second through the center of its host galaxy. Being able to push such a massive object up to these high speeds would require a tremendous force, one that astronomers can't quite account for. One theory is that the aftermath of a black hole merger and the resulting black hole was catapulted across the cosmos by the momentum of the collision. The second theory is that we are actually looking at a rare, supermassive binary. If this can be proven, it will be the first ever confirmed detection of a supermassive black hole binary. Number 6. The million-year orbit. Our home planet makes one complete lap around our sun about once every 365 days. But this newly discovered planet would need a calendar that is much, much longer. The planet is designated Coconuts 2b and is around 35 light-years away from Earth. Coconuts 2b orbits a small red dwarf star from an estimated distance of more than 600 billion miles, 6,471 times further than the Earth is from the Sun. At this distance, it takes light from the star more than 37 days to reach the planet. To compare, for the Sun's light to reach Pluto, it only takes a little under 5 hours. Planet Coconuts 2b's wide orbit means that it has a year that lasts for an unbelievable 1.1 million Earth years. This is the longest orbital period for any exoplanet ever discovered. Life on such a world would be strange and cold. There would be virtually no difference between day and night, and their sun would appear only as a bright, red star in the dark sky. Number 5. A planet with 3 suns. Luke Skywalker's homeworld of Tatooine is famous for its twin sunsets, but the newly discovered star system in GW Orionis actually has it beat. This system, located 1,300 light-years from Earth, is home to 3 stars. The entire system is surrounded by a wide ring of gas and dust, known as a protoplanetary disk. Gravity will eventually pull this debris together into large clumps, which will likely evolve into a system of planets over the course of a few 100 million years. GW Orionis' dusty ring is bizarrely misaligned from the plane of the central triple. Astronomers have also found an odd gap in the disk with very little dust. The existence of a newly forming planet, or even several planets, within that gap could explain these anomalies. It's difficult to see through the thick clouds of dust, but if this hidden planet can be confirmed, it will be the first known circumtriple planet, a planet that orbits 3 suns at once. Number 4. New strains of space bacteria. The International Space Station is always kept meticulously clean, lest any errant contaminant damage the delicate equipment. The ISS is clean, but it is far from being sterile. In March of this year, a team of scientists took samples from a space capsule that had just returned from the space station. From these samples, they were able to isolate 3 completely new strains of bacteria. They have been named Methylobacterium ajmali, an entirely new species of bacteria that has evolved only on the ISS. Before you worry about the astronauts bringing back some terrible space-borne illness, these bacteria are safe for humans. In fact, they may even prove to be highly beneficial. You can't just plant a seed in any sample of dirt and expect it to grow. Soil needs a living component, including bacteria, in order for plants to thrive. The crew of the ISS have been growing plants on the station for years, and these new bacteria strains are believed to be offshoots of those carried to the station within the original soil samples. Scientists are hoping to use these space bacteria to gain an understanding of how microorganisms respond and adapt to the harsh conditions of outer space. NASA and other countries are setting their sights on manned missions to the Moon and Mars. Being able to grow food may become a necessity for future astronauts spending many years away from Earth. The newly discovered space germs from the ISS could potentially allow scientists to someday engineer super-resilient strains of space bacteria that thrive in the most inhospitable conditions. These superbacteria could be used to help keep plants healthy during long interplanetary voyages, or to even convert the dry Martian dust into arable soil. Number 3. A nearby black hole. Something strange is going on with this red, giant star, located 1500 light-years from Earth. It seems as if something is there, pulling and stretching the star to change its shape. The culprit, it turns out, is an incredibly rare find. A black hole only 3 times the mass of our Sun. That may seem big, but that's actually very small for a black hole. It may even be the smallest one we've discovered so far. Despite its enormous mass, this black hole is so compact that its event horizon would only be 11 miles wide. They've nicknamed this black hole the Unicorn, in part because of its rarity, but also because of its location with the constellation Monoceros, meaning unicorn. The Unicorn black hole is also noteworthy because it's the closest one we found to Earth. Don't worry, it's still more than 1,000 light-years away, so it's no danger to us. But it does represent a significant discovery because small black holes like the Unicorn are extremely hard to find, and knowing more about them might help us better understand the life cycle of stars across the galaxy. Number 2. The Giant Arc. The universe is a big place, home to potentially trillions of galaxies. From observations of the universe's structure, astronomers have developed what is called the cosmological principle, that the matter in the universe, all the stars, galaxies, and galaxy clusters, are, at a large enough scale, more or less evenly distributed. When looking at the universe as a whole, there should not be any big clumps nor significant gaps. But a new discovery this past June cast some doubt on this idea. A wide arc of closely grouped galaxies, spanning across 3.3 billion light-years of space. The cosmological principle says that there shouldn't be any large-scale galactic structures bigger than around 1.2 billion light-years. In other words, the so-called Great Arc shouldn't exist. Astronomers aren't yet able to resolve this discrepancy between the discovery of the Great Arc and the cosmological principle. The only thing that's certain is that there is still something fundamental about the universe that we don't quite understand. Number 1. An extragalactic planet. So far, we have found over 4,000 extrasolar planets, planets that orbit stars outside our solar system. But astronomers may have just found the first ever extragalactic planet. The exoplanet candidate M51 ULS-1b is about 28 million light-years away, located within an entirely new galaxy. It is estimated that the planet could be about the size of Saturn, with an orbit 20 times wider than Earth's. The M51 ULS-1 system is extraordinarily different from the solar system that we are used to. Instead of circling around a calm yellow sun, this distant exoplanet would orbit around a blazing blue giant star with a mass 20 times that of our Sun. The star is orbited closely by a compact companion, the remains of a dead star, such as a neutron star or even a black hole. Combined, the binary pair shines brighter than 1 million suns. If this extragalactic planet candidate can be confirmed, it will mark a landmark discovery in the history of astronomy and planetary science. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to Matter to get the latest discoveries from outer space.